All right, may the words of my mouth and the meditation of mine heart be acceptable in Yahweh's sight. He is our strength and our Redeemer, and it is in His name, which is His authority, that we pray, praise, proclaim, project, and protect today's message. Aman. Hola, mi nombre es Kofi. ¿Cómo está? Bonjour, c'est Kofi. Ça va? Ni hao, namaste. Osaya Nikituya, Ohio. I see you. Manut, Wagan, Habarigani, Jambu, Biminiku, Inafaraku, Katana, Wewe. Akwaba, Madasi, good to see. Kamsamida, Chow, uh, Aloha, all that great stuff. Welcome, Barakalat Shem Yehava, Atanai Kwafai, Khalit at Servant to Christ, Mashalom Chi. Hello, everybody. I am Pastor Kofi, Pastor Servant to Christ, where we are always changing lives one mind at a time, but being the voice of the voiceless and speaking the unspoken. We appreciate your presence on tonight. Thank you for being on with us. Get ready to get on the road. Also, as a reminder, too, everybody who has not been on this week, and I'm sorry, hey, how you doing, babe? My wife was on once again, the Honorable Amma. As always, check her out on TikTok, YouTube, her website, and Pinterest at Bloom and Flourish, not A&D, the letter N, Bloom and Flourish. She is a healer, herbalist, chemist, and biologist by degree. As a reminder, everybody who has not been on the regional meetings, that's everybody on Pacific time, Midwest or Mountain time, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Kentucky, Kansas. Well, yeah, Kansas. I mean, all of them I can think of. If you haven't been on this week, we tried to make sure we sent the link out. The link is in specific places. I'll try to post them again if I can on different social media. But if you check out different social media platforms, it should be on there. A few of them with the link actually on there. If for some reason you don't have the link, contact us right after. We tried to send it via text and also via email. So if you check your emails, if we have your information, let us know. I'm sorry. What? I don't know what background noise. If it's the cricket sound, it might be from the iPad. If you're hearing the air, I don't know. Did it go away when I turned the air down, or did it lessen when I turned the air down? Or it could be the fact. Actually, now that I think about it, it could be the rumbling of the car. I might have to turn the car off because I don't have a stand to put this stuff on. Does it go away? Let me ask this: did it go away? The sound that you're hearing in the background, I'm not sure. Is everybody hearing the background sound on TikTok or YouTube? Are you hearing the background sound? It went away. Okay, tell me, is it here now? Is it back? Is the sound back now? Is the sound on now on TikTok? Okay, all right. So it's the okay. It's sitting on the car. It's interesting. Nobody's ever. Oh, okay. It's never done. I usually set it on there, or maybe it's something you guys are used to, and everybody was just being nice about it. So I'll open up these windows so we can get some air. Alrighty, let me turn it off. So prayerfully, that gets rid of the vibration. I apologize about that. It's sitting on the wheel. Now they're sitting on the wheel, so we can get rid of it like that. You thought it was like a cat purring there, probably with the car. Amen. Okay. All right. We don't have that much time. We got to get ready for our meeting tonight. We got to start at 9. So hopefully we'll see everybody at 9 p.m. Eastern or 6 p.m. Central. 6 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Mountain time, 8 p.m. Central time. We tried to send it out to everybody. You should have got some kind of email about it. If you didn't, I'll try my best as soon as we finish to start sending this out to everybody who hasn't been on. But if your region hasn't been on this week, then tonight's your night. Everybody on the Pacific and Mountain time, usually you're going to be on Thursday nights. We had to be to tonight because yesterday I needed time off to get myself together. Amen. All righty, let's go ahead and get into this. Praise Yah. Let's say our Bible pledge. This is my Bible. This is my sword, and this will I trust. For Yahushua is Lord. No sword of God shall ever be heard. For this is my Bible, and this is Yah's word. Atsham Yahava. Amen. So on Tuesday evening, we talked about leave men alone. And we actually said leave real men alone, right? right? If dot dot dot, if you're not ready. Tonight we're going to reverse it. We're going to say, leave the real woman, right, alone, unless, I'm sorry, dot dot dot, unless you're ready, or especially, sorry, excuse me, let me say it like this: leave the real woman alone, dot dot dot, if you are not ready. Okay. So same thing we did for the men. I told you, sisters, I apologize. It's supposed to be on Thursday, yesterday, but we're doing this tonight, and it's time for us to dedicate some time to making sure that the real woman, the real wife, the real kingdom. Now, this is, we have to make sure, because when we're talking about this, we're talking about from the perspective of our culture. We must make this clear, because just like we had to make it very clear in the time, in this climate that we're in, in the climate that we are in, everybody is very much so trying their hardest to talk about why we don't need one or the other. In the climate that we're in, everybody talks about real men this and real women this, and nobody wants to talk about, well, what is the context of it. And usually it's just how people feel, or what they try to get out of the other person, or whatever the case might be. But we want to talk about the real woman, right? The real woman, the real Aisha, right? The real helpmeet, right? Not even Eve, because Eve is a fallen, Havach is a fallen version of Ayazar and Aisha, right? The first word for Ayaz, for what you call wound man or woman, is what? Is Ayazar, is helpmeet. So in our culture, even though the term womb man can be used, because obviously it's a woman that has a womb, or even a woman or a man who has a womb, excuse me, or a man who has come out the womb, but that's not even the context we look at, right? We don't need to call her man or whatever, even though she comes from Adam. Adam would be the word that we have for man, right? But the womb, the first word that we would use before we'd even talk about wombed man or woman is what? Is Ayazar, is help me. Ishia, help me. And Sister Monica, I emailed you, even though you're not in there. Remember, I said I'm going to try and start working with you and getting you in the rotation of helping me out with some calls and stuff. So it's up to you if you'd like to be on the Zoom meeting tonight. I did send you the link. Okay. Um, but back to what we were saying, it's very important that we recognize we're talking about the real, the Israelite, the kingdom woman, right? Hopefully you're doing better, Sister Iska. And hopefully everybody kept Sister Iska and Sister Sheila in their prayers. I know both were talking about they were in the hospital. Somebody else was talking about somebody else was dealing with something as well. I apologize. Hopefully somebody was able to reach out to the third person. There was so much going on this rising with the Q&A and everything, and then with all the persons that were asking for prayer. Please forgive me. But tonight I want to talk about the ayahs. We're going to talk about the helpmate, because see, the real woman, real man is Adam, right, or Adam, and we know that culture. But the first word for the woman or the woman is what? Is ayazar. This means helpmeet, right? And she is supposed to be a helpmeet before she is even Aisha. Prophetically speaking, the Most High said that I will make for him a helpmeet, right? He needs a helpmeet, right? It's not righteous for Adam, for man to be bad or bad. Bad in Paleo Hebrew actually means to be alone. So he said it's not righteous, it's not constitutional, it's not tabah for a man to be alone. I will make for him a helpmeet. We're used to everybody else's culture, so we say wound man, right? So the first thing that we're looking for in a sister is not for her. See, and even if you look at it, it's a lot of stuff that's even hypersexualized and other things, right? First thing, we're not looking for to make a real woman. In our culture, we're not looking for her womb or looking for her organs, or looking for what she can do for us as far as having a child. First thing we're trying to figure out is helpmeet. Helpmeet, right? Does she help meet the need? Right? That's the first thing we're looking for. Is she, in fact, a helpmeet, qualified before marriage? Right? Qualified before marriage. It's very important that we catch that. Right now, I'm just talking about culturally. Some people that you don't uphold that in your culture, you don't really care about that. But for us, it's extremely important. Is that first things first? Right, prophetically, we're looking for her to be a helpmeet. Now, once again, leave this woman, leave this helpmeet alone, if you're not ready, because you will abuse a helpmeet when you're not ready. You will abuse her. right? And how's everybody doing? Thank you for being all over on all the platforms. We appreciate you. I know I didn't say hello to everybody. Did we do our yeah, we did our Bible pledge. How you doing, Beck? How you doing? Brother TJ, how you doing? Dwayne, how you doing? Spirit Plane, how you doing? Minister Samaya Larae, how you doing? Coleman, Minister Chanta, everybody appreciate you. How you doing? Joseph, Sister Mignon, Sister Iska, Joseph. How do you spell? Oh, Ayazar. We would spell Ayazar. So actually, so it's kind of it's not. I might even be saying it wrong. It's not really Ayazar. It's Ayazar. Yazar, right? Ayazar would be Ayin, but Ayazar would be Aleph Yod Zion Resh, or phonetically we would say possibly in the language that we do now, we'd say Ayazar, right? Ayazar. Yeah, Ayazar. Ayazar. How you doing, Brother Vincent? Everybody appreciate you, Sister Monica. If I miss your name on any platforms, charge it to my head, not to my heart. We appreciate you. Thanks for being on. How you doing, Minister Morel? Everybody. Yeah, but tonight we're talking about leave real woman alone, right? If you're not ready, right? Leave alone if you're not in fact ready. You know, and a lot of people need to hear, a lot of brothers need to hear that, a lot of sisters need to hear it, a lot of persons need to recognize that we're asking for certain things from persons and we're not ready. How you doing, Bruda? How you doing, Taylor? Everybody, once again, how you doing, babe? Love you. How you doing, Big Brother Thomas, Sister Austral, Minister Tamara? Appreciate everybody coming in. Thank you so much. I feel like I'm missing somebody. How you doing, Darius? If I miss you once again, please charge to my head, not to my heart. Thank you for being on. We appreciate you. So, and how you doing, Brother Omar? How you doing, Emmanuel? How you doing? Okay, hold on one second. So, and all these different things. I'm sorry, I might have to. I guess I'll have to pick this up, and y'all will just have to, so you guys don't have to hear the, because somebody's literally came up to us as loud as they possibly can. I'm gonna move somewhere since they decided to be as loud as possible. But yeah, so you have to realize and recognize very quickly when you're talking about these things. You know, we're looking for a real woman. First of all, in our culture, is dealing with the ayazah, right? A helpmeet, right? And that's before she is introduced to her husband, right? So her husband, right, is in his work. So how do we know when a husband's actually ready for a wife or ayazah or a helpmeet, right? Before we even get to wife, which is Aishah, how do we know that he's ready for a helpmeet? Is he even ready for a helpmeet? Right? Is that something he's even prepared to have, prepared to take care, prepared to hold on to, right? Can he handle the helpmeet? That should be one of the first questions that we're looking at, is can he actually handle the helpmeet? And I'm sorry, I'm trying to park this so we can go ahead and turn this back off and not have to worry about well, not that, just that. I'm trying to make sure that TikTok will get upset and try to say that we're riding in the car while we're doing this. So I'm gonna make sure I stop. Okay. So in all the stuff we're talking about, right? First and foremost, are we ready for the helpmeet? Right? First things first. Are we ready for what? For a helpmeet. How you doing, Sister Nadine? If we're not ready for the helpmeet, we're gonna have problems with all the other stuff people are talking about. Right? If we're not ready for the helpmeet, we already got problems. You know, and a lot of persons are not ready to take care of that. The helpmeet is somebody who's going to be looked after, taken care of. She's going to be because the helpmeet has to be protected, right? The daughter of Zion in her has to be protected. You know, there's a lot of stuff that she has to feel protected. She has to feel secure in her and what she does to help. Right? You said Adam realizes through his wife he needs help. Well, I'd even go further, right? Adam doesn't even realize through his wife. Adam, or no, you said work. Okay, it's blocked off. I just realized. Yep, you said it right. I couldn't see it on the screen. Yeah. So you said, what verse is this word used? It's used in Genesis chapter 2. If you were to read in Genesis chapter 2, it will say, first it will say, you know, Adam is in need of, it says, it's not righteous or it's not to buy, or as many people's verses will say, it's not good that man will be alone. I will make for him a helpmeet. Now, this word helpmeet in Paleo Hebrew would be ayazah, right? Somewhat close in modern Hebrew too, as well. But in Paleo Hebrew, it would be ayazah, right? So therefore, if it's in Paleo Hebrew, it's ayazah, then that's help me, right? And it says in English, even if you don't want to use the Paleo Hebrew, you would look in the English, it will still say that that Adam was in his work. See, I told y'all it was going to do that. They just blocked us, or it's giving me this on TikTok. All I did was literally move from one parking space to another, and it's doing something. They won't even tell me why I took it off, but more than likely it took it off because we moved literally a couple parking spots. I'm sorry. Let me try and set up TikTok on the original TikTok page. It won't even. Terrible. Or is TikTok not working? Oh, maybe it's trying. Okay, hold on. Let me take it off the Wi-Fi. But let me put it on another TikTok page. Let's see what happens. Okay. All right. Let me take it back to the Kofi _ 42. I think they don't want us to go live because they're going to say I was riding. Yep. Says I'm kicked off until June 15th. Why am I kicked off? Oh, because I'm using the term real woman? Wow. I think that's what it is. Hold on. Oh, no. Okay, dangerous activities. I was about to say, oh my greatness. No, yeah, it's saying dangerous activities and challenges are appropriate for everyone, but some carry risk of significant injury. Yeah, they must be saying, yeah, they must be saying because we rode down that I literally rode from one parking spot to another. That's crazy. Okay. Oh, that's not crazy, I guess. I was looking for it. I'm gonna go to the original Kofi _ 40 page. Let's see if we can make that work. My greatness. I'm sorry, you guys. See if we can get people to come back on. I'm sorry. Okay. Anyways, hopefully they'll be able to come back on. If not, we appreciate everybody. Sorry about that. It is what it is. But yeah, so anyways, where were we at? Yeah, we got kicked off. I guess because I moved. That's the only thing I can think of. It said dangerous activity, so that's the only thing I can think of. But anyways, yeah. So prayerfully we'll have some everybody will find us. It is what it is. But so where were we at? So tonight we're talking about leave real women alone. Right. If you are not ready. Okay. And it's important that we recognize because they're probably not on with this at this time because we got kicked off because I rode from, at least that's the only thing I can think of. It said that we were flagged for dangerous activity, which dangerous activity can be just about anything. But I'm assuming they're saying because I went from one parking space and I literally went like 2 spaces down or 2 groups of spaces down to make sure that we weren't right next to the person who was blasting next to us. So that's all I can assume. But anyways, hopefully people will find this over here. That being said, so today we're talking about, so what was it somebody was at? Oh yeah. So the first word that's used is help me. Even if you want to come outside the Paleo Hebrew, the first word for woman or woman, right, is what? Is help me, right? That's the first, right? That's the first thing that is used. That's the first word that's used is is woman. So yeah, so what happened at TikTok? Once again, we went from one parking space, we went a couple parking spaces down. They said that that was dangerous activity. That's the only thing I can think. They flagged us for dangerous activity, and of course they're very vague. So I appealed it. It doesn't really matter because even if it were to work, there I'm not going to be able to be on until tomorrow anyway. So it is what it is. But we won't be using that tomorrow. We'll be using Kofi_43. So it is what it is. That being said, though, um, and all the stuff that we're talking about, it starts with help me. Okay, it starts first with the help me. The help me is where this starts. So we're used to or saying wife is better. With the first thing that in our culture, so-called woman is called is help me. Right? If she's not a help me, she's not right. That's what the first thing that Adam needs is, and that's pulled out of him is not somebody where you focus on their womb, you focus on what they lay down with, they focus on the sexual activity, over sexually stimulated and all this stuff. The first thing we're looking for in our culture when we're looking for what we call a real woman would be, in fact, we would be looking for in our society a helpmeet. That's that's what we would be looking for is, in fact, a helpmeet, right? Somebody that helps us meet what Yah has called us to meet as a wife, right? But really, before even a wife, she's a helpmeet. So we train up wives, but before they're wives, we're looking for helpmeets, and we have to honor the helpmeet in her. And we have to honor the multiplier in her. We have to multiply the one who's going to protect our direction by laying down said law for the family, even in our absence. We have to honor the Proverbs 31 woman in her that says that our names are well known in the streets because of who she is and how she represents the family, right? This is the truth about in our culture what we would look for. And a lot of persons are having issues with relationships and things of that nature because they're not, you know, um, they're not really trying to be that. But first things first is we're looking for a helpmeet. Now, helpmeet what helps meet the need, but also even if you were look at the word meet is even the word meets there is not just like meet, right? But also it can be even looked at as like meat, like something to feed. She actually feeds, right? She feeds her husband where he's right, when he feels weak, she feeds him not just with food, physical food only, but she feeds him in a fashion to where when he feels weak, she can, a woman, death and life, a real woman in our culture, death and life is in the power of the tongue. In the power, by the way, recall, tongue doesn't just mean a physical thing, right? Or it doesn't just mean when you speak. We oftentimes look at this word tongue and we kind of lower the meaning of it. We make it very simplified. Death and life is in the power of the tongue. If you recall, tongue can mean culture, it can mean language, right? It can mean nation as well. So a helpmeet for us is somebody who's in the nation. Death and life is in the power of the tongue, and those that love it will eat the fruit thereof. Now, why am I giving that verse? Somebody says, well, that doesn't necessarily have to be about a wife, but here's the deal. What's the next verse? That's Proverbs 18:21. Death and life is in the power of the tongue, and those that love it will eat the fruit thereof. Well, what's the next verse? Proverbs 18:22 goes on to say that what? That he who finds a wife, which is the next level, which is Ayazar now going to a level where she's being connected specifically to this man. Now, yes, you can be a husband's wife, of course, but we're talking about now in the case of where we're talking about, well, men and women coming together. Well, yeah, then he who finds a wife finds a tabah or moral thing and obtaineth favor from Adam, right? So death and life is in the power of the tongue, and those that love it will eat the fruit thereof. And then the very next verse, they go together. We never really talk about those together in churches and a lot of preaching, but the two go together. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those that love it, those that those that have the actions of the Father, the Son, and Holy Spirit will eat the fruit thereof. Therefore, when you find a wife, you find somebody who feeds you, who speaks life, who can also speak certain things that should not be authorized and can be DOA, or can speak some things that should have life, but if she's not careful, she'll speak things that will cause things that should have life in your life to become DOA. Right? A wife can literally speak you to a place to where you don't want to go to work. right? But you got to be careful, because sometimes we'll just go, well, she speaks bad, she speaks bad. Well, what have you done, or what is the environment that's happened? Is she in an environment to where she might be leaning towards speaking things that are lifeless, or speaking against life in your situation, right? Because a real wife, you got to comprehend the power that a wife has, and you got to comprehend sometimes that a wife should speak some things that don't go there, right? Are you ready for somebody that has that much power? And are you ready, watch this, for somebody who has that much power and has trained to be able to wield it? See, we love to say stuff like, put on the full armor of Elohim, right? Put on the breastplate of righteousness, and the belt of, the belt of truth, and the shoes, the shoes that are preparing you for peace. And make sure you've got your shield of faith to quench the fiery darts, and ensure that you have on the helmet of salvation, and make sure that you have the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of Yah. But you have to be trained to hold a sword, and then get in the sword fight, and have never been trained how to use a sword, is ultimately going to lead to your death. Somebody who's trained with the sword and somebody who's not trained with the sword, somebody trained with the sword is pretty much going to win every single time, unless they get like extremely, they get extremely overconfident. If somebody knows how to wield a sword and somebody does not know how to wield a sword, I promise you, we're going to have a problem, right? If somebody knows, look, two people have fists. Somebody who's trained to use their fist and somebody not trained to use their fist, we're going to have a problem, right? If somebody knows jujitsu and somebody doesn't know jujitsu, that person that doesn't know jujitsu might be 300 pounds, might be really, really strong, and might be able to do a lot of stuff to that person who's only 150. But that person 150 will probably be able to win by getting that person to submit, or if they have to, breaking an arm or breaking a leg, right? There's a lot of stuff that's moving, a lot of stuff that's going on, a lot of stuff that we're not speaking on, right? There's a lot of people who are trying to use this stuff and they're not trained correctly. How you doing, Sister Keita? How you doing, Sister Tanisha? A lot of us are not trained correctly in what it is to use the sword. So you got to be careful, right? But when you have a wife, when you have a real woman, when you have a helpmeet who becomes wife. Now, here's the other part of Genesis when somebody was saying, where is that at? Well, Genesis chapter 2 is very interesting. You have to know what's going on in the Paleo Hebrew, because Genesis chapter 2, about a shot bit, you'll first see that it says that Adam needs a helpmeet. Adam is given a work there. He said, so name all the animals, dress the garden, keep it, etc., right? And when he does that work, in the midst of his work, especially naming the animals, which means giving authority to things, as he's in the work of authorizing things of the Most High and being the perfect will of the Most High, to where whatever he names it, the Most High authorizes whatever he names it, because they're thinking on the same frequency. Except in all this stuff, he doesn't realize he needs a helpmeet until he does what Yah says. And in his work, he recognizes the need for a wife. What you say? Live by the sword, die by the sword, that too, right? So in his work, he recognized the necessity of actually not even a wife yet, of an ayazar, of a helpmeet. He realizes that every animal has ayazar, or every animal has helpmeet. Before we even get to woman, before we get to wife, before we get to these other terms, he says, first things first, the Bible declares he realizes he needs a helpmeet. He doesn't know what the helpmeet's going to be called, this, that, whatever. He just knows, first things first, I need a helpmeet. So before we even talk about the word woman, or wombed man or woman, we have to first talk about what? Helpmeet. You see that? So if you're not ready for a helpmeet, if you're not ready to be in your work, and your work declared the necessity of a helpmeet, you're already in trouble. Then after that, it says that Adam is put to sleep. He rests, right? Once he completes his assignment and completes his work, just like the Most High completed the earth, and then he rested, and that which he created after he made the earth and made man, then he rested, right? And until sin entered, he was still in his rest. Well, Adam completes his work, and then the Most High says, now that we're in agreement, and you see that you need an ayazar, you need a helpmeet, he puts him to sleep. And then when Adam wakes up, the helpmeet is there. He has now made this helpmeet. So her name, her authority was first helpmeet. The only reason why you call Adam Adam, right, is because he was Adam, right? That's what he's named that. Right, but then everybody out of Adam is Adam kind, or what you would call man. Everybody out of this first man called Adam is mankind, or Adam kind, right? Just like anybody who comes out of Israel would be Israelite, right? So you could say they're Adam light, if you will. And so Adam sees a piece of himself, and he says, wow, this is bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. And he says something peculiar, but you'll miss it, especially if it's not in the Paleo Hebrew. He says, for this cause will a man leave his mother and father and do what? And cleave to his wife. But, and Minister Jenny preached on this in her initial sermon, matter of fact, last year in December. But if you're not careful, you will miss what actually happens. That word man there is actually Aish. So in English, they just say, for this cause will a man leave his mother and father. But no. It says that he first was Adam, he's man, and then he doesn't use the word man again or Adam again. The word he uses there is Aish, or some of you say Ish, right? So he uses the word Aish meaning what? Husband. So when he sees his wife, he realizes that he as Adam now can become Aish. He can become husband. He's the only way he can be qualified to be with this woman is he has to be husband, right? Be careful, sisters. You keep dealing with these brothers and you're not seeing if they're qualified to be husband. The first man, Adam, has to first become qualified as what? As Aish, or husband. So he says, for this cause will a Aish, a husband, leave his mother and father and cleave to Aishach. So his first name that Adam is given is Adam, man, and the second name that he's given, and he gives himself. He's still in the perfect will of the Father, though. So the Father's agreeing with this, but Adam declares this himself. He says, for this cause will a mother, or will a husband leave his mother and father and cleave to his Aishach, to his wife. His first two names are husband, right? Or sorry, are man and husband. The wife's first two names are helpmeet and wife. Adam had to be worthy of what was presented in front of him. He had to accept it and accept all the responsibility that came with her. Right? Leave real women alone if you're not ready. You see that? So Adam has to first acknowledge that this is bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. We're going to become one again, because that's what we're trying to do, is not become one. You must recognize you're trying to become one again. Right? And as they become one, or become one again, right? As they become one or become one again, well, what happens? Right? What happens is what? Is that now they must be qualified. They must be pre-qualified. So he says that I'm pre-qualified to be husband. She's pre-qualified to be wife. They're speaking Avla, which is the language of all creation, which means they're speaking the same language that the Father would. This is why it's important that we catch these words, right? Then it's not until Adam can't handle the fact that he fell short. Yes, Ayazar or Aisha, right? Helpmeet or wife, she fell short, but it's not till Adam joins her, because Adam came first. It's not until husband or Aish joins her, because husband came first. So he joins her, right, in sin, and as soon as he does, the very next word is immediately. All right, resident DJ, how you doing? The very next word is what? Immediately. I'm sorry, depends on your Bible verse, but basically, as soon as they ate, the very next thing you're going to see is they both fell. Everybody fell. All of their fruit, all of their seed, all of their children would fall, right? So their children have fallen now. They are fallen. Their children are fallen, right? It's just what it is. It's going to be that way no matter what. They have fallen, right? And now Adam, right? Recall, there's a curse that happens, and this is what a lot of our sisters are dealing with, right? There's a curse that happens. The curse for the sister is she'll travail in pain, right? She'll have birth pain. She was never supposed to have those, right? That also means, if you're talking about her period, more than likely she was never supposed to have those. We'll leave that there, right? And then what else is there? It says that she's also going to be dealing with a curse to where her husband will try to rule over her. So the Aish, who was so busy saying that he needed to be pre-qualified and she's bone of his bone and flesh of my flesh, and he'll leave his mother and father and all this, now has gotten to a place where he says, forget all that. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just treat her however. And that's how a lot of brothers do. And a lot of sisters matter of fact, here's part of the curse. Because look, if it says that was what was going to happen. Here's something else that people don't recognize. Then Adam renamed her. Recall her first name. Let's do English only. Let's do English. Her first name is Helpmate. Her second name is Wife. Then Adam renames her from wife to Eve, to Havach, to somebody that deserves to be ruled over, right? To the evening, even Eve. That even the language they're using in English, they're trying to show you there's correlation. Even in that language, Eve, she's in darkness now. She lit up his world. Now all of a sudden he gets to just call her darkness, and he tells her about herself as fallen. And remember, he tossed her out there. He said, "Hey, it was her fault. It's the woman you gave me. If it wasn't for her, you gave it to me." Right at this point, he's ruling over her. He's using her as a sacrificial lamb. He's trying his best to, but at the same time, he's going to stay with her. They're going to have children. I mean, he's going to till the land. At least he's going to take care of her. But I mean, what choice does he have? She's the only thing that's close to him like that. So we're trying to, yeah, exactly. We're trying to get back to help meet and restore even the way we think of our sisters, our mothers, our wives, even the wives that are not married to a man yet. We have to restore. See, are you ready for this, brother? Are you ready for this? To look at her as a helpmeet, and watch this. Therefore, this is why you have to sanctify her and wash her by water, which, right, or wash her by the word, right? This is why you have to make sure you're willing to sacrifice for her. Why? Because if you want her free from spot or wrinkle or blemish, guess what? That's on you. Because we spoke her into Eve. We didn't cover her there. We didn't fall when the one we call Eve ate the fruit. We fell when we ate it as well. So who better to make sure that they sanctify her and protect her and put her back in her normal place than us? But we're not trying to help her. We're trying to rule over her. See, and if you're looking for a real woman, if you're looking for a real wife, if you're looking for a real ISR, a real helpmeet, if you're looking for somebody who's not going to just go for anything, or watch this, somebody who needs to be taught. See, can we be honest? All the stuff, brothers. If we love to say we're the pastors and we're the priests of our own homes and all this stuff, right? Okay, real talk. Here comes the real talk. I don't have that much time left, so check this out, because we got to get ready for those who are going to be with us on our on our meeting tonight. So just real talk, brothers. Do me a solid. Be ready and all the stuff that you're talking. And now you're ready to say that she's this and she ain't this and blah blah and this and that or whatever, right? You say you're supposed to be the pastor, the priest, the prophet of your own home, all that stuff. Cool, I'm with you. You ready? Well, pastors have to help people to become clean. They have to help people with study. They have to be able to make sure that they pray for people. They have to put healing hands. They have to love people past their places, right? They have to be willing to be open. They have to allow all this stuff to happen. If you can't do that with your wife first, then you don't even deserve to be a pastor, all right? And a pastor is supposed to be a husband of one wife and do those things with his wife. That's why the Bible says, if you desire the office of a pastor, of a head of an assembler, you desire an excellent work. But first things first, can you be a husband to one of them? Some of y'all want 17 of them, right? And some of y'all want to take care of 17,000. But first things first, can you be faithful to what it takes to taking a wife and making her what Yah has called her to be, or allowing her to become that, or allowing her a safe space to remain what she is? Because if not, you're going to abuse her. You're going to abnormally use her, and it's going to be problematic. And by the way, wives, that's part of your husband's responsibility. It's just, it's really interesting. This is something I hear from a lot of brothers. It's really interesting, right? Because a lot of brothers will say, well, and a lot of sisters, when I have conversations with sisters one-on-one, or when I have conversations with husband and wives, I just realized I missed one yesterday. I hope they got the note that I was not feeling well. Dang, I just realized I missed one. But anyways, I apologize. Anyways, we were supposed to have an appointment yesterday. I hope they got the word that I wasn't feeling well. Anyways, sorry, but I'll hear from a lot of couples, and I'll hear from the sisters specifically that, yeah, I listen to so and so, yeah, I'll do this, and yeah, blah blah, but you don't understand, blah blah, and I'll be like, well, hold on, and I'll be sitting there, I'll be trying to tell them on Zoom or in person or even on the phone. I'll be trying to give signals out somehow to be like, hey, don't say that, don't, because if you can do it for somebody else, why can't you do it for your husband? And at the first thing, and I get it. We can be abused. We could have been abusive. We could have hurt. We could have done this or whatever. Cool. But we got to figure out how to make this trust thing work. Now, if I be honest, a lot of times that's not even the reason why they're not listening. It's just because it's, hey, I'm not going to. However, I'm talking about a real woman. I'm talking about a real wife, right? And even if not, brothers, guess what? It's still our responsibility to wash them by word of the word. I know it's hard, but the same thing, you said you love your enemy. Well, if you love your enemy, love your wife. Love your wife like Yehashua loved the assembly. When Yehashua loved the assembly, guess what he did? He loved the assembly. Guess what he did? When the Messiah loved the assembly, he gave himself for it, knowing that a lot of that knowing that they had a choice, that they might sin. Your first congregation member is your wife. Are you ready to handle that? If you get struck across the cheek, right? It doesn't mean get struck again, right? Turn the other cheek, but turn the other cheek is actually talking about specifically as far as, hey, if you try to help them, you're going to have to realize they might try to reach out and get the other one. Are you willing to go ahead and do what it takes? You might have to put your hands up to protect yourself, but if you're going to stick around, hurt people. Are you ready to protect yourself? Have you been trained to do so? Amen. Anyways, I apologize. We gotta wrap this up and make sure that we're ready for our live session or our Zoom session. So this is the way the Zoom session is going to be tonight, just for the night. Next week we'll go back to our regular scheduled program and all that great stuff. Just for the night. If you have not been on Zoom with us for your regional meeting as of yet, just for the night. If you haven't been on your regional meeting yet, then tonight is for you. Okay. So if you have not been on your regional meeting as of yet, then please, ma'am, please, sir, feel free to come on. Even if you're in another region, but basically all the regions we've done, the Northeast region, we've done for the Southern Virginia area, the Carolinas, Georgia, Florida. We've done the Central North region. So basically everybody else in the country, come on in tonight. Okay, I'm pretty sure that's how that's going to work. I think we did Canada as well, but Canadians, if you missed it, you can come on in as well. I'm going to try and figure out how we can get all of you guys who are in the UK group, and I guess that includes Australia, and we might have to include Africa and stuff just for now in that group as well. We'll see how that works. But everybody, so it should be on social media, the order and what days are on there, and it should be on TikTok as far as the Zoom link. Should be on Facebook with the Zoom link, I believe. If not, just let me know. It should be on YouTube. If you go to our YouTube channel or our YouTube page, if you go to our YouTube page or YouTube channel and you look up where it says community on there, it should be the very first thing that you see posted on there, the very first thing that pops up. Okay, so you should have it in those. If you are in that area, if we have your information, if you wrote your information on the sheet, the form we asked you to fill out, you should have got an email 2 or 3 hours ago. I believe somewhere in between 6 and 7 p.m. Eastern New York time. So you should have gotten a couple of hours ago if you look on there. If not, feel free to contact us and let us know. Should be on WhatsApp from a couple of days ago as well. But if you're in the area, once again, if you're in the area of any other area that hasn't been on, all right, usually we do SOC West and SOC like Pacific time and Mountain time. We usually do those on Thursday, but since I missed yesterday, we'll do it today. Okay, so just want to make that clear. Make sure everybody's on the same page. Hopefully all is well with everyone. We appreciate you. We'll be sending out a lot of stuff to remind everybody about June 16th Sunday. There's going to be Pentecost, 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern New York time on Zoom and everywhere else. Or if you're joining us in person, we'll start at 6 p.m. Eastern New York time. I'm going to be in the building and the address at about 3. So if you're in the DMV or if you're traveling in to see us or anything like that, hopefully we'll see you on Sunday. And we thank you guys. We appreciate you. And we'll talk with you soon. So continue to pray for Sister Sheila. Pray for Sister Iska. I'm sorry, there's a third person that we need to make sure that we lift up in prayer. I apologize. Thank you guys. We're gonna do the fruit wave and all that stuff, our first fruits and all that stuff as well. And we'll be back in front of you guys tomorrow. I forget who's gonna be preaching for the podcast, but we'll be back on tomorrow. Everything's scheduled the way it's supposed to be. Those who are part of our Bridge the Gap situation or with the prison ministry, we'll be meeting up tomorrow at 3 Eastern. And at 7 p.m. Eastern New York time tomorrow will be our men's meeting. And couples, married couples, we'll probably allow everybody to come on the first one, but then for the most part, it'll be married couples. Once in a while, if people are already dating and stuff, maybe we'll do this stuff. We'll look at different things, but hopefully we'll start our married couple stuff next month on every second Saturday. Okay, so we look forward to having you guys there with us as well, and we're appreciative of you guys being with us, and we thank you. So that's all that I have. Thank you again, everybody. We appreciate you. We honor you. We hope that you take care tonight. We give our honor and praise to the Most High. We give our praise and honor to Him for my wife, the Honorable Amma, who lives a life to be able to be honored. It's 9 o'clock now, so we're going to go ahead and check out. We'll see you on Zoom, those who need to be on, and thank you again for being on. Remember, as always, that you are loved, you are necessary, you're majestic, you're fearfully and wonderfully made, and you, which is all of us working together, will be the reason why people who are in this system no longer have to be of it. Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Talk to you tomorrow. Peace, fam. Take care.